Welcome back to the Lion's Den. Today we speak with Sabrina Victoria, the founder and CEO of Her Nation. Her Nation is a community for female entrepreneurs looking to level up and grow their businesses. And this is a really cool conversation I was excited to have because we really dove into what it takes to start a community, to nurture a community, to make sure that people are getting value out of the community and contributing value to the community. It's a really cool conversation. And Sabrina's an expert at marketing, sales, and community building. And they do all sorts of things at Her Nation to basically enable the community to thrive, like podcasts, weekly meetups, live events, all the sorts of things that you need to build and maintain strong relationships within an entrepreneurial community. So without further ado, let's get started with our interview with Sabrina. Sabrina, welcome to the Lion's Den.
Hello. Thank you for having me.
Of course, of course. So I am really excited to be talking with you today because you are an expert in community building. And this is something that actually my firm has been doing a lot more of lately. And so I would really love to go granular with you today on some of the theories and practices behind it, because honestly, I'll learn from it and it'll be very helpful. So let's start with this. Your business, Her Nation, and the community that you've built around it. Tell me what it is that you do. What's the purpose of the community? Who should be a part of it?
Yeah, so the community is called Her Nation. It is two-sided. So the front facing of the company is the media. So we do podcasts, much like this one. We do panels, we do live events, and we just launched our digital magazine this year. The back end of the business is the educational piece. That is where we do masterminds, networking, co-working spaces, business and sales growth workshops to really help women succeed. So we help them build the foundation, the framework, and the structure of their actual business. The idea behind the community is in general is this. I have been in the coaching arena for over 10 years at this point. A lot of women are leaving corporate. And this is what's happening. They're leaving corporate. They're so excited. They get certified in something. They put up a little website. They got their little calendar link, and they sit and they manifest and they wait for their $10,000 months to come into their bank account, and doesn't come. Barely, right? And
it's harder than that.
And so what they make that mean is that they suck as a coach. So what Her Nation, or what I teach, is we are not questioning your ability to be able to be an amazing coach and help people. What we are questioning is your ability to be able to run a successful business, right? So when you come into the world of Her Nation, we help you be seen, we help you be heard. And while you're doing all of that, we are also helping with, like I said, the structure, the framework, foundation of the business, so that you're actually pulling in money, so that you're actually sustainable, so that you can help the world.
I love it. Okay. And so I want to definitely take it piece by piece and dig into each of those elements you mentioned: the magazine, the podcast, the workshops, all that stuff. But first, your background, I was looking on your LinkedIn page. Your background is in sales. Is that right? What led you to go the entrepreneurial route yourself and start?
Yes. So I was actually raised as a Jehovah's Witness.
Okay.
So I've been going door to door. I always say I've been going door to door since I was like 5 years old, hawking religion, right? And then after I'm no longer a Jehovah's Witness. I left that religion when I was around 25 or something like that. But I just have a natural knack for talking. I build rapport very easily. And I wound up getting into door-to-door sales. I actually did door-to-door sales, business to business first. I was a recruiter, then went to door-to-door sales with my ex. My ex and I ran a crew for 15 years. We were running 6 offices over 4 different states, 150 sales reps, and I was in charge of the whole thing. So all the sales, all the flow, all of the marketing material, all of the training, to really help these reps get in and start making money and straight commission. And the turnover is very high, so really building that endurance as far as some will, some won't, so what next? Not only on the recruiting side, but also on the sales side. So it's just At this point, it's literally in me. It's just in me at this point.
Yeah. And so when did you make the shift and say, I'm going to start my own business?
Well, that's a long story. The relationship I was in was extremely toxic. It was really, really bad. And so in the middle of that relationship, about 8 years in, I was on the floor in the bathroom in the fetal position, crying and screaming. Like I was having a total mental breakdown one day. It happened many times, but this specific day, I was just losing it. I was literally losing it like a crazy person. And while I'm on the floor in the fetal position, I could barely like see. It's dark. I pull out my phone out of my back pocket. I always say Google saved my life. I Googled, why is my boyfriend bullying me? Because I was literally doing everything. We were pulling in so much money. I had my hand in everything in this business. I felt like I was being the best business partner anyone could ever ask for, slash business slash relationship. And it didn't matter how good I did. It didn't matter how many hours I worked. It didn't matter how much money we made. He always found something wrong. So I Googled, why is my boyfriend bullying me? Because I didn't know any other vernacular other than the word bully. Like, he's just so mean to me. And Google informed me that I was in a narcissistic relationship with an abusive partner. So I took my power back that day. I literally did a 180. I got up and I was like, this isn't my fault. I'm freaking working my ass off. There's something wrong with this guy. And there's a lot wrong with me too. So I dove into personal development and I just started learning all the things about finances, about mental health, emotional health. And I opened up a secret bank account. I started 3 online secret businesses, one of them being an online business. And I slowly, over the course of a couple of years, saved $50,000 and literally just ran away one day. I took my son, our clothes, and my bicycle. I left everything behind, my bougie house in Boca, my brand new, fully loaded BMW diesel. I left everything, computer, phone, everything. I started all over again from scratch with a mattress on the floor. And I've been building businesses ever since. You know, I already knew so much. I had gotten so much training through that experience, right? We got to talk about the positives here. And I just went all in on myself. I went all in on my own ability to be able to, I built the business. I mean, I did. And so just went all in on myself, despite what he said. And I've never worked for anybody since. And here we are.
Wow. It honestly is, it still kind of amazes me. I guess it shouldn't amaze me anymore, but you know, I talk to a lot of entrepreneurs, obviously, through this podcast. And there's this, it's like everybody has a story that's kind of like that, where it's like they phoenix rising from the ashes. It's like, and I guess the reason why it happens so often that people who go through something like that become good entrepreneurs is that being an entrepreneur, every single day you're confronted with some sort of chaos, some kind of problem.
Absolutely.
And you have to turn it into order, and you get really good at that by being in an extremely chaotic environment at some point in your life and having to create order out of it, you know.
It's funny, when I first built my very first website, the tagline was, I turn chaos into masterpieces. Because that is literally what I was doing throughout that. You know, when you're, especially in the industry we were in, door-to-door sales, straight commission, there's nothing more chaotic than that. And then plus add on the relationship, the toxicity, the interpersonal, all men. We're over 4 different states, 6 off. I mean, it was a freaking clusterfuck. Am I allowed to swear? So
Maybe we can beat that out.
So yeah, I mean, that's the truth.
Yeah. Wow. All right. Well, let's dig into Her Nation and the different pieces involved. You had mentioned previously, I don't remember exactly, but you had mentioned there was a back end pieces to it and then the front end pieces to it. Which one of those do you want to dive into first?
Yeah, I mean, the front end is the most fun. It's the podcast. You know, we do podcasts, panels, live events. We just launched our digital magazine. The idea is to get women seen, basically. So seen and heard. There's so many women who are brilliant. They have so much brilliance, and they don't talk about their business or their abilities anywhere except for maybe a post on Facebook, once a week. And they think that that's the thing that's going to get them rolling. So the idea is to allow them to plug into an atmosphere where they can learn how to be an amazing podcastee, learn how to speak and write about their business, do it within our organization. So this way, when they go out into the world and they're presented with other opportunities to be on podcasts or to be in magazines of sorts or on stage, they've already practiced in a very safe environment here with us.
Okay. Interesting. Okay. And then is those, outward facing mediums, the podcast, the magazine, that sort of thing, is that also facilitating new sales for the people in your community who you're helping to push their message out through those?
Does it help them with sales or does it help me
Yeah.
with sales?
Does it help them with sales?
I certainly hope it does if they use it correctly. If they're not using it correctly, I mean, I don't have any way to monitor that.
Gotcha.
But yeah, we go over all the ins and outs of what they should be doing, right? They get the raw version of it. They should be cutting and chopping and promoting. They should be sharing it every once in a while. They should be collecting testimonials off of things. They should be sharing the magazine. They should be sharing the graphics. But some of them, quite honestly, don't,
Yeah. Okay. But you give them all these different marketing elements and this content for them to leverage.
Absolutely.
Okay, cool. And so then the back end pieces, what are those of Her Nation?
So the mastermind, so it's called H Club. So the community itself is called Her Nation. But then there's the back piece is the club. So it's H Club, and it is for those same women who want to take it to the next level. They want to actually invest in their company. So we have 3 tiers, tier 1, tier 2, and tier 3. Obviously, the more money you pay, the more perks you get. And it includes a mastermind, networking, business growth workshops, sales workshops, co-working spaces. We have a platform where we're all at. We have, I bought into Circle. I don't know if you're familiar with Circle or Mighty Networks, Heartbeat. Okay.
Yep.
So we have a Circle community where we all reside and we have our little groups and our little chats and all of that goodness. And they come with their questions, and I mean, it's beautiful. It's an absolutely beautiful community. The ladies dive right in and you get quick results, quick results.
Yeah, that's awesome. What is the mastermind that you mentioned? What is that like? You guys meet once a week? What do you discuss in the mastermind?
We meet 2 times a week. Well, this is the thing. That's hard to say. They can do whatever they want.
Okay.
Like, they don't have to come. It's not like, I don't run it like Russell Brunson. Russell Brunson has a mastermind that costs like hundreds of thousands of dollars, and you have to go. It's like 15 seats and you have to go. Like if you miss one, you're out or something crazy like that. I don't run mine like that. They don't have to ever come. But yeah, I run a mastermind 2 times a week. You can come to one, both, none, doesn't matter. And it fluxes. There's usually a hot seat where somebody comes, explains a little bit about their business, and then asks specific questions to the group. I do take one of those throughout the month, and I do a full day or a full hour of training with open forum on the back end, and also networking involved in that too. So we kind of, fluxes a little bit, but yeah, extremely organized, extremely systematic. There's structure everywhere within my organization. And that's how we've been able to grow so fast. I mean, we just opened up in 2021 and already as is, we almost have 3,000 members.
Did you say 3,000 members?
Yeah.
Wow. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So, and you had mentioned like live events, workshops, stuff like that. What is the topic of like the live events?
Oh, live events right now are all networking. So we meet once a month for the people here in Boca, right? Her Nation is global. So we're all over the place. We have women in our group from Australia, Germany, Norway, did I already say Australia? But the networking, the live in person is here. They're small, 3 hours, 30 to 50 people. networking with speakers. So we do maybe 3 speakers, 4 speakers tops, who speak for 20 minutes a piece in and out of the networking.
Okay. And then what about, obviously with your sales background, are you doing also like one-on-one sales coaching for some of them if they want that? Is that part of it? Okay.
That's tier 3. Yep. Tier 3.
Okay.
I don't show up as a coach though. I did the whole guru coach thing for years. It's very exhausting. It's very exhausting for me. I should not say for everybody. It was very exhausting for me having to show up to know everything. Yeah. Which is why this has been so nice, really falling into a community. So instead of it's now we, right? So we help each other. It's not Sabrina helps everybody, because it's a lot of pressure. Like they don't talk about that, but it's a lot of pressure for the coach to know all the answers to all the questions. I mean, I can't tell you how many times I was in a situation where I was confronted with a question and I'm like, what the answer to this question is.
But you made something up.
You have to make something up. Yeah, you have to make something up. Exactly. But it's extremely exhausting. So I really love the way that we are flowing right now. It feels really good. It feels very aligned. And there is a ton of stuff that I do know. So I do show up just like all the other women show up with things to share, things to give, things to teach.
Interesting. Okay. So I guess what you're kind of hinting at, and this is the next topic I wanted to talk about, is, building a community that actually functions as a community. So like, I guess a main piece of that, like you're saying, would be everybody has to show up willing to contribute. It's not just one person sort of leading the community in totality. It's got to be kind of a group thing. What are some of like the core values or practices or something that you've implemented to foster the right type of environment within the community?
Yeah. So I teach what's called the give-get method, meaning all of my women show up with an attitude to give only, not to receive anything. And what happens is when every single person on screen is showing up with an attitude to give, every person is surrounded with dozens of women who are there to give to you.
Yeah.
So it's an absolutely beautiful concept. I rely heavily, not only for my own business, but for my ladies' businesses, on the law of reciprocity, which means if you show up and you say, how can I help you? A person is automatically, just out of the law, feels indebted to help you back. So every single one of my calls, every single one of my podcasts, every single one of my meetups or events, always ask, how can I help you? What can I do for you? And when you do that in a sincere way, the person feels that, and when they feel that, and they actually feel as if when they say whatever they need help with, it might be a connection, it could be a referral, it could be an idea for a platform or website, it could be, can you look at this, or what do you think about this, or my sales suck, do you have any advice? It's an array of things. Automatically that person is like, damn, is there anything I can do for you? And that's when I can then use my needs or my wants that I need for my business. I have a list to be able to convey to them to be able to continue to grow my business. It's very strategic. It's very intentional, but also real.
Yeah. And I have experienced that with, like I said, my firm's been starting to do a couple more events, and it is amazing just the vibes that are throughout the event if everybody is genuinely there to help one another.
Absolutely.
Do you find that, is that the only value? Is that the only thing you need to facilitate a thriving community, is just be ready to give, or is there more to it than that?
I think the leader has to show up. The leader has to show, that's me. The leader has to show up with a vision for what he or she wants the community to look like, and has to teach the community how to be in the community. Nobody knows, right? When I first started, one of the biggest aha moments I had was somebody put in a comment, a post, and the post literally said, "This community feels amazing, but I have no idea what to do here."
Yeah.
Yeah, because I didn't know what I had never done an online community before. So I didn't even know. I'm like, I don't know. Let's just like put them all in a group. I don't even know. Let's just like, so, and I was like, holy shit. Like, yeah, I have all these women, at that point, I probably had like maybe 300 or 400. I'm like, yeah, they don't know what to do in the community, right? So you have to tell people what to actually do. So I now have a welcome video at the front that I tag. Every single person that enters gets tagged to this video that they watch, explaining what to do in the group. Then on top of that, every single day, 7 days a week, I have scheduled a post that goes out at 10 a.m. asking questions that relay to the topics of which are important to me or the community to keep the conversation rolling around our three categories, which is health, wealth, and leadership. So every single day at 10 a.m., there is a post, a question, or an affirmation, usually questions or affirmations, or thoughts around those three categories only. And what happens is as they start to kind of see and recognize what's going on, they fall into suit. The other thing that I did for anyone here who's listening, yourself or anyone who's listening, who's kind of wondering how, I'm only one person. The way that I put it is every leader has some sort of a posse. You just do. Might be a posse of 2, might be a posse of 12, but you have a posse. You have a little fan club of somebody who just loves you. And you got to get with that posse one-on-one. And you have to have a conversation with them, an honest, vulnerable conversation about your vision for your community. And you have to ask for help. You have to ask for help. And you have to say, hey, listen, these are the couple of things that I'm doing. Can you please engage? Can you please help? Can you please ask questions? Can you please? And what I did is I assigned, right, intentionally with love, a handful of my women to either schedule their own posts that were their posts around health, wealth, and leadership, to engage in posts, to engage in the comments, to put pictures up. Can you please? So I kind of used it according to what their superpowers already are within their own community. And then I just asked them to do the same within my community without any pressure to do it all the time. But like, hey, listen, it will also help you because, you're getting viewership also within the community. So you're almost posting twice. So when you can, again, present it as a give get, right? Give get. Then that's when you can start really creating the algorithm in your favor by using your posse.
That is really insightful. Thank you for that. Because I think what you want out of the community is you want the community to feel and really be just kind of a natural place where organic conversations and connections are happening, but you can't leave it fully up to chance for it to continue to exist properly. You have to trim the hedges and that sort of thing, and so that's where all of this kind of these tactics come into play. So I love some of those. You mentioned you've got a lot of structure, right? Like your organization is structured. So, and it sounds like some of that you can actually use the scaffolding of the community itself, your posse, to provide some of the structure, which is awesome.
Absolutely.
Is there other structure? Do you have like a team of people that you use to do certain things internally?
Yeah, I have a whole team in Pakistan. I have 4 people that work for me in Pakistan. They've been with me for 4 years. And yeah, they do a ton of work on my back end of my business. It's the whole thing that Tony Robbins talks about, like the working in your birth business versus on your business. Like, where do you want to be? And if you're too entrenched in the day to day, it's too hard to sell. You got to bring in money. Who's bringing in money? That's what I always say. Who is bringing in the money? If no one else is bringing in them, then it's on you. You have to do it. And if you don't have time to do it because you're too busy doing all these mundane things, you're never, ever, ever going to get around to it. So you have to find a means of which to offload some of that stuff so that you can concentrate more so on the money coming in to be able to sustain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
So what's next for Her Nation Global? Any new exciting projects on the horizon, or what's going on?
Always. Yeah, there's always a razzle dazzle happening. I think that businesses in general are grown and expanded by huge, audacious things. So 2 years ago, we hosted a podcast that was 12 hours long, 12 hours straight. We hosted 56 women back to back over those time slots. Sometimes I had one person on screen and sometimes I had 12 people on screen. It was amazing. A year after that, we did an 18-hour podcast. Are
you awake for this whole thing?
Yeah, I'm the host the whole time.
Oh my God. Wow.
18 hours, and we had 91 women attend. It was absolutely phenomenal. And then this year we had the digital magazine, but the way that I do it is different. So I always show up not only with intention for myself, but I let everyone into the secret of what the intention is. Like, the reason I need 100 women, right? The goal was 100. I hit 91. The reason it's 100 is because Her Nation needs 100 women talking about it at the same time. You can't get momentum when it's just you. All the time, just you. So when you can do these enormous, which, we're only 3 years old. So 100 is enormous for us, right? We're not like Tony Robbins and Grant Cardone yet. But when you can get a large amount, you hit a huge goal out there. My first goal was 50. I hit 56 or whatever, which I went over. My second goal was 100, which I was under. I got 91. But you're feeding these goals to the people. You're feeding the vision to the people. And when you can get other people to believe in your vision, you're unstoppable. You're unstoppable. So the same thing with the magazine. In the magazine, I had 88. I had 88 contributors. And it takes a lot of time. I had to do 88 graphics, 3 each. I had to write up a bunch of copy for every single one of them. I had to email it. I emailed them all separately. Took forever because they all have their own picture. So I couldn't even mass email it because it's their own picture in every single one. So I had to send out 88. But this is how much it means to me. It's like when you're growing a business, you have to be the hardest working one there, and you have to be more excited than everybody else. So if I'm back here being like, oh, that's way too much work, that's way too much work, nobody else is going to give a crap about you. Like, you have to do the work. You have to show up. And when other people see you showing up, they're looking around. They're like, damn, she freaking has 91. Who the hell is this woman? Right? She sent out 88 separate emails. Everybody, I told them that in the email. There's 88 of you. I did 3 graphics each. This is how much I want this. I told them that. So that makes them recognize how hard they need to show up for me, right? Because it's a push, or it's an influx of energy that goes into them. Now, the reason you want to be working with high numbers is because not everybody, right? There's a third that are just like, cool, Sabrina, whatever. You know? But then there's that 2/3 who freaking get it. And then there's that 2% that are talking about it for a whole month later because they just freaking love you, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. That's awesome. Yeah. And I remember I was reading, maybe it was one of your LinkedIn posts or something where you're talking about how you've basically broken your procrastination bone or whatever. Like you have to do that, especially as a business owner. You have to get rid of the urge, the human tendency to procrastinate. I love that. I love that you've done that.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Well, okay. So it sounds like I'm trying to figure out what's the best way for somebody listening to this who wants to be a part of Her Nation. Is this a go to your website, sign up for tier one kind of thing? Like what do they do?
Yeah, my website is my name, sabrinavictoria.com. Super simple. And yeah, you go to, if you wanted to check out the sales page, you would go to H Club and check it out. There's 3 tiers. So most women buy into tier 2. You get the
Okay.
most for your bang for the buck at tier 2.
Mhm.
But even at tier 1, you still get a ton, and it's a really good price. Pretty much anyone can afford tier 1.
Okay. Awesome. Very cool. Well, did we miss anything that you wanted to hit on here today?
No, I feel like this was an amazing interview. Thank you so much for giving me the time and the opportunity to be able to share all of the things, all the intricacies.
Absolutely. Yeah. And for everyone listening, I know firsthand that joining a business community is like a really, really key way to scale your business. It really pays dividends. And it sounds like Sabrina has an awesome community set up. So please take a look. Go ahead and join that community if you want to scale your business. Sabrina, thank you for joining me in the Lion's Den.
Absolutely.